Well, hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me tonight. Um, let's see, what is tonight? This Friday night, man, this is crazy that on a Friday night, as busy as all of you are, that you still made it in tonight. We got a lot to talk about today, and it's been a crazy week. Of course, here lately, every day's been crazy. And I'm going to get to all of it. I'll get to your questions, get to your comments. I already see some really good questions that we'll circle around to. But before we do, let's say hello to the channel members, uh, some of the people that really support this channel behind the scenes. I know a lot of you do, but let's say hello to the channel members. Let's start with the original one, Ramon, Robbie Ross, Corey Oatley, Midlife Trucker, Smaller Hauler, Oaser DM, Roger Berry, Armando Perez, KC, Skyhook Trucker, a trucker named Tim, H Man, 18 Wheeler, Jordan B, PU Patel, No Fear, Davenport Family, Mark Ely, Racing Ray 28, Lance Calhoun, Adam, Mud Trucking with the Fly Rabbit, RGB, Gary Cook, Cattywampus, and Russell Freight Services. That rounds out your Gorilla Gang. I appreciate everybody being here. So let me tell you what's going on. As you can tell by the title, today terminated my employment with my contract with SRO Logistics. He came and got the truck today. There was a whole mess there. His flight got delayed because of weather in Dallas. He was flying in from Gulfport, and I guess the way I understand it, the plane that was picking him up from Dallas or going to Dallas or whatever got delayed as a result of that storm. He thought originally he was going to be here about midnight last night. Ended up getting here around 8 o'clock this morning. Ended up flying part of the way and then renting a car and coming the rest of the way, or an SUV or whatever. And so then when he got out, the stroke is still messing with me, folks. Then when he got here, found out that his luggage did not also make the trip. And he's going to have to file a claim to get his luggage. And it could take, I think he said 5 business days to get his luggage. Anyway, it was good to see him and his wife Rose one last time, and we uh, we stopped at a Love's where he could get him some battery chargers and stuff for his phones, and then ended up taking him to Walmart so he could get some stuff for the truck that was stuck in his luggage. And he took the truck. I guess he left probably about 10 o'clock this morning, and but man, it was tough. Anytime I've made um, a job change in the past, it's been what I called a vertical move, where I thought my life was going to benefit or improve because of the change. And this was tough because I know that it's going to be real hard to move vertical from here. I kind of reached the top of the mountain, and now I'm kind of on the downward side. And it doesn't mean it's going to go down forever, but it's definitely going to be tough the next few months. I'm going to have to make some changes in my life that I had hoped to not have to make, things like that. But as far as what I'm doing now, how my health is, for those that don't know, last Thursday, I guess 8 days ago now, I had several strokes, roughly about 15 of them, while I was working on that semi. And fortunately, my son had just pulled up. He took me to the hospital, and they determined that I needed to spend 5 or 6 days in the hospital. Okay, hopefully you guys can see me again. We're already having a technical Friday, I guess you could say. So today I started looking for jobs again. Those that have tried to contact me, I've been super busy. I'm trying to return the pre-pass, and that was a whole fiasco. Their customer service couldn't be any worse. So I called in, they made me wait forever, like 20 or 30 minutes on hold. Then they answered, they said, "Oh, you need a different department, but there's not a long wait time over there." They go to transfer me, and it transfers me to a survey. And after I do the survey, it hangs up on me. So I never got the other department. I sent them an email, and they said we're processing it, and never got it processed. So I imagine I'll be working on this next week too. It's just been a lot of stuff like that going on. But anyway, as far as job hunts go, a lot of people want to know what I'm going to do next, what I've been looking at. Everything from non-CDL driving jobs all the way to fast food. I'm looking at my options across the board. There was an option that I had secretly been hiding in my head for a long time. Uh, a couple of years ago, I was eating at a Chinese place here in Lubbock, and I got recognized. And they said, well, actually, it wasn't even that long ago. It was when I was working at Swift. And she said, "Hey, aren't you Trucker Todd?" I said, "Yeah." And she said, "How would you like to come to work for our company?" I said, "Well, I'm here at Swift right now, but I'll keep you in mind if I ever need to do something, and I'll give you a holler." Well, it was a company here in Lubbock that did recruiting for a very large expedited company. And so today I went to their offices and was going to talk to them about, hey, taking them up on that offer, maybe doing some recruiting for an expedited company. Well, they moved their operations from Lubbock to some uh, country like Argentina or something like that. So their headquarters were somewhere in Ohio. So they're still doing it, but it wasn't going to be feasible from Lubbock, Texas. And so that deal that I'd kind of had as a safety net was gone. And like I said, I've been talking with some contacts, people I know, people I've met and networked with over the years. I'm looking at a few finance jobs, just a lot of things. So, not telling you all this to kind of throw you off or be mysterious or something like that. I just I really don't know yet, and I felt like crap the last couple of days, so I hadn't really even wanted to look. But by Monday, I'm going to have to hit the ground running because I can't go much longer like this. A lot of people are like, "Oh, take it easy, rest. Don't even do videos, just rest." And it's like, that's not me. I've got to. For me, I'm resting when I'm working. I'm not resting when I'm sitting here thinking about, oh, this is going to be due on this day. This is going to be due on this day. Um, I felt terrible seeing Scott and his wife today, just because they were great to me. And now that I officially am not affiliated with that company anymore, you can still believe when I tell you that they're great. If you guys are looking for a company, they should be on your short list. And you should definitely call them and give them a talk to, or email them at safety at SRO Logistics. And I think you'll be glad you did. But anyway, I'm sure I've got more I meant to tell you. My brain is still a little cloudy coming back online. So sometimes I have all these great things I want to tell you about. And when I get on here to do it, it either comes out in a stutter or I just flat out forget about it. And the doctors have told me in the next 5 to 6 weeks, I should be back to 100%. I've got to be careful. I've got to go to the cardiologist and the neurologist. It's supposed to be 2 weeks from when I left the hospital. And so within the next week and a half or so, I've got to go see them. And so I don't want to get a job that takes me out of town for something and I can't get back for those doctor's appointments. But anyway, if I didn't answer your question, throw it up in the comments and we'll grab it here shortly. Let's say hello to somebody that's been waiting over 3 hours. My good friend and channel member Gary Cook. Looks like I'm the first today. Wow. Yes, sir, you are. And channel member Robbie Ross says, I'm number 2. Yes, you are. Robbie Ross, channel member, hoping to get to Matt's tomorrow. I sure wish I could have went. It's some of the most fun I've had in trucking, and I had really hoped to go this year. Who knows? Next year, that may be my return to trucking. We'll see how this year goes with the strokes and stuff. Steve ND86, hey now. Good to see you again, sir. Wow, look at this. Channel member Robbie Ross with the $100 super chat. A little something because I can. Well, thank you very, very, very much. I don't even know what to say. That is greatly appreciated in these times, I can tell you, my friend. I was having a good conversation with Robbie Ross earlier today, and I had to cut it short because I was dealing with pre-pass and everything else. But he's a good friend. I've known him for a few years now. I thought we met at Dart, but he reminded me. See, there's the seizure or the strokes again. I keep calling them seizures too. We actually met at Dart, so he's been with me since. Man, the YouTube channel had like 150 or 200 people, long time, and he's turned out to be a good and loyal friend. But I really appreciate that, man. I promise you that. Hey, and Steve ND says he's also headed to Matt's. Maybe you and Robbie Ross can meet up and have a hamburger together or something. That's what I had originally hoped, was that I could get there this year and we could all hang out. Even if next year I'm not able to drive a truck yet at the time Matt's rolls around, maybe I can show up and we can all still hang out like we had hoped to this year. And another good friend and channel member, Adam, is here. Good to see you again, sir. Skyhook Trucker channel member watching from Meyer, DC in Lansing, Michigan. And Skyhook's another one of them. So let me say this. You know, a lot of people have felt sorry for me this week, and man, I've heard some really bad things. And I'm still really, really blessed. You know, it's the fact that I can come on here and I can go, this person's a really good friend. This person's a really good friend. The fact that there's so many really good friends that sometimes I forget to acknowledge them as a really good friend tells you that I'm really blessed in my life. And I appreciate each and every one of you for sure. Channel member Robbie Ross, I'm 270 miles from Louisville. We'll get there in the morning. Yeah, you're going to have fun. I always suggest get there as early as you can and stay as long as you can. It really is a fun time. Levi Weatherly, does Trucker Todd really have to give up trucking? For a year at least, 1 to 5 years, you can Google it and see if I'm correct. But when you have a stroke, it's a medical requirement that you not have a medical card for a minimum of a year. After such time, you have to go back to the doctor, to a cardiologist, a neurologist, and they have to medically clear you to drive again. There are similar restrictions for heart attacks, but I don't think it's long. I think it's like 3 to 6 months or something like that. But yes, everything I'm saying is true, and you can feel free to Google it and see. There was actually no benefit to me whatsoever to leave the arrangement I was in. It was everything I had hoped it would be and more. It's I told somebody the other day, I said I spent 27 years or 26 years anyway trying to get the deal I've got now, and I hated to give it up. I spent probably 2 or 3 days while I was in the hospital, and should have been resting and not stressing myself, trying to figure out how I could keep going. And there's just no way. Uh, I was even talking to the doctors. Can you write me the paper right now that says I'm good to go? I can pass all your cognitive tests and physical tests. And the medical providers that do the physical said, yeah, our computer won't even let you pass. And if you lie about having a stroke, you can get in a lot of trouble. So it's not worth lying about and trying to get away with. Trucker named Tim, channel member here, but home, so might catch the replay. I totally understand, my friend. Josh McLean here listening. Then I'll be watching at the truck stop when I'm done driving. Well, you may be getting close to being done. That was what, about 40 minutes ago almost. So anyway, I'm glad you're here. P.U. Patel, channel member. Good afternoon, Trucker Todd. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for being here. Oh boy, I was hoping this guy would be here. This is channel member Ramon, here watching from my hospital bed. Did those I'm not going to say that. That sounds bad. Are they getting you fixed up, Ramon? Are you going to be okay? Don't give anything that embarrasses you or makes you uncomfortable, but I just want like a yes or no. Are you going to be okay? Is things going the way you want it to? Blue Shadow says, hey, hello, sir. Thank you for being here. I was thinking last time you were here, it was Blue Shadow US, but maybe not. Again, still having a few issues. Brian Walton, hello, bud. Hello, sir. And Craig Hutchison, hello, Trucker Todd. Hello, sir. The Right Way to Truck says, hey there, Todd. Hello there, sir. Brian Walton, yeah, he says that's not good. I don't have a lot of good news to share, and it's tough because I know I'm going to lose some things. I'm going to lose, and it's by design. I don't need 3 phones if I'm not dealing with brokers. The phone calls are going to die down some since I'm not directly in trucking, unless I stay directly in trucking. And so we're going to be phasing out some of the phones in the next few weeks. Some of the cable services we've had are going away. We're making some changes, trying to adapt to this new way of life that's probably going to be the next year or so. But I don't want this video to be a downer. Right now, I'm just trying to find a job, and that's why in that last video, I said, if you guys want to talk to your company about safety or recruiting opportunities for me there, that would be greatly appreciated. I'm also doing the same. I've been in contact with a couple of companies about working for them in safety and recruiting capacities. The problem is where I live. If I would move to a major metropolitan area, it would be easy for me to get a job like that. But for me to work for most of them, I'd have to work remotely. And being a brand new employee, a lot of them aren't real hip to that. And I get it. So, as I said, right now, I'm looking at non-CDL driving jobs. I'm looking at even fast food, if you can believe it, because I've got some connections there, and maybe some management in fast food or something like that. Just trying to keep my head above water until things get better. Robbie Ross, channel member, you froze. Yeah, it having some technical issues, but I'm back up now. And Ramon's saying I froze. He's also a channel member. Yeah, there's going to be a few minutes here that it's that way. Trucker named Tim, channel member. You could always go back to car sales. Everybody wants me to, but I just don't know if it's the same car sales business it was when I did it before. And what I mean by that is so much of it you can do online now. You can you can check the car out online, and a lot of car lots now have an internet sales manager or an internet salesperson, and they get all the internet leads. Typically, what car sales is now is you sitting on your Facebook 70 hours a week taking pictures of cars and trying to get people to come to the lot and look at them. And half the time they show up at the lot and don't even ask for you. They ask for another salesman. And so I'm not saying I won't do it, but it's also pretty stressful. And I get that every job has a little bit of stress to it, but I'm trying to be careful for especially the next few weeks and not blow my brain up. This would not be a cool time to die. Mud Trucking channel member. Hey, Brother Todd. Hello, sir. And Gary Cook channel member. I had my passenger side window shattered on me today. Well, how'd that happen? Was it like, was it like using super cold weather or somebody throw something at it or what happened? DIY semis at Matt's. Now I really regret not being able to go. I've always wanted to meet him and Cassius King. And I don't know if it's going to happen now. I mean, everything's up in the air. I don't know if I'll ever be able to drive again or not. Blues Trucker US, glad to see you home and sounding better. Really sorry to hear about your health and the situation. Keep your head up, and I hope it all works out for you. Well, it will. And something that I have to keep reminding myself, and something that other people have reminded me, is God's still in control. And I'm not going to beat you guys over the head with a Bible or preach to you on here because I'm far from perfect. And those of you that know me know that. But, none of this stuff has caught him by surprise, and he can get me through this. And look at it like this too. I got all you guys going through it with me. How many people go through this alone with nobody? And what I mean by that is I get a lot of phone calls every day, words of encouragement. How many people have nobody calling their phone or nobody saying it's going to be all right? I mean, you want to know what my ride was like with Scott and Rose today? The whole time I was apologizing. I'm so sorry I let you guys down. I'm sorry this happened. And the whole time it was them saying, Todd, this ain't your fault. There's nothing you could have done. It'd have been different if you got drunk and wrecked the truck. It would have been different, if you had done something intentionally. They said professional athletes have strokes. It's nothing about health. It's just something that happens. We're not mad at you. They even said that, extended that olive branch, that if at some point I was able to drive again and I wanted to come back, that the door would be open. And, I'm in a pretty good place now. If I run into them at a Walmart somewhere or at a shipper or receiver somewhere, I'm not going to have to worry, hey, are they going to want to punch me? They don't have to worry, am I going to want to punch them? We left on really good terms with handshakes and hugs and all of that. And so while my situation is really bad and it looks like I got to climb a big mountain, there's definitely people that's got it worse than me. Even the doctors were saying, hey, at least you don't have any permanent physical damage. There's a lot of guys that come out of this that they talk funny. And I was like, well, I talked funny before this, or they can't move one of their limbs, or they can't walk, or, all of that. At least you're going to make a full recovery is what the neurologist told me. And he said I was at 80% in the hospital. I don't think I'm there. I think I'm 65, 70%, but I appreciate his optimism, and I know I'm going to get better, and I know I'm going to overcome this. But it's not going to happen as quick as I'd like it to, or everybody else would like it to, I'm sure. NTA Banana Spider, glad you're up and about. Todd, many prayers for you and your family. You will get through this. Yeah, the only time that I felt like I might not get through this is my last night in the hospital. Well, and on the ambulance. I had a close call on the ambulance. I almost kicked the bucket on the ambulance. But my last night there, I had a nurse that over medicated me and would wake me up every 30 minutes. And the one thing that will destroy my health, the way I found out I was diabetic to begin with, is for me to go long periods of time without sleep. And so as long as I get my rest, I'm fine. My blood sugar, everything comes in check. But more than, and what I eat, but more importantly than even what I eat is making sure I get the proper amount of rest and sleep and things like that. So, man, I thought that nurse was going to kill me. And that next morning, I was telling them, I can't have her again. I said, I'm going to check myself out of here if she comes in this room again. And they're like, all right, we won't have that happen. And then the neurologist said if I would take that heart monitor procedure, that he would release me. And so I've got the heart monitor. I can show you a pretty funky looking scar on my chest if you want to see one. But yeah, so I think I'm going to be all right. I really do. Channel member midlife, alive after all. I'm late. Yeah, I said a lot of stuff in the first 28 minutes. If you get a chance to roll around and listen to the replay there, midlife, I think you'll find a lot of stuff that you wanted to know. David Edwards, hi all, praying for you, Todd. Thank you. That's the last video was all about how you can help, and that was one of the two things I mentioned. Definitely prayer, and or rosaries or whatever you do. I'll take it all. As far as the other thing, suggest me to your company. Say, hey, I know this great guy on YouTube, or I know this mediocre guy on YouTube, and he does this and all, and I've been watching him for this length of time, and he had a stroke and he's looking for work. Can we squeeze him into our company in some capacity? And maybe they've got something. All righty, the next one comes from, hang on, I gotta let my wife in. Sorry, I forgot. Sorry. All right, sorry about that. So the door here, if you lock it from the inside, you can't unlock it from the outside. And if you lock it from the outside, I think it does the same. Yeah, it's weird. So if I lock it at any point during the day when she gets home from work, I got to let her in. Did you get my text I sent you? Uh-oh, was that a no? Oh, did you get my text? Evidently not. Is that a yes or a no? Okay. I'm in trouble. Oh, she said I'm not in trouble. I think she's in a bad mood, though. Are you in a bad mood? Okay. Brian Walton, no more trucking for me. I had an incident 2 Fridays ago and was let go on Monday, March 11th. If I come back, it'll probably be 3 to 5 years. Unsure how long companies keep telling people. I can answer that for you, Brian, because you might remember on April 28th, I had an accident and I went to work like 2 or 3 weeks later. It depends on the company. You are correct. If you want to go to a mega carrier, it's going to be probably 3 to 5 years. If you want to go to a smaller company, some of those are going to take chances and you can probably get on a little quicker. If you want some help with that, email me at todd@truckertodd.net and we'll work through it together and I'll try to help you find something. Brian Walton says, I have nothing on my DAC. Yeah, and this accident won't be on there for probably 30 days, maybe longer, depending on how long it takes the department to write the police reports and the details of the accident. That's why I say shoot me an email and we'll talk about it. Or if you've still got my number, give me a call and we'll talk about it. And I'll help you get a game plan in place. Willie's gone. I'm glad to see you're out of the hospital. Hey, I like your profile pic, by the way. That's pretty cool. It reminds me, maybe that's who it is. It reminds me of Cookie, which was Bozo's sidekick clown on the Bozo the Clown show that I used to watch on, what is that channel? The Chicago channel, WBN or whatever it is. See what I mean? I can't remember nothing anymore, but yeah, that's a cool deal. And I'm glad to be out of the hospital too. Like I say, that last nurse was, I'll never forget her. She didn't speak English very well. And so, yeah, I better not say too much. Channel member Ramon, yes, everything is good. I'll be leaving the hospital on Monday. Well, thank goodness. That's what I want to hear. And you're okay at your job and everything? You're not going to lose your job over this or nothing? Channel member Midlife, you know you can do dual eSIM your iPhone. Yes, all of my previous phones. Thank you. All of my previous phones have been dual eSIM'd, and this one was supposed to be, but I'm in an installment deal on it. I ended up getting the phone for basically free, but I had to take it on an installment thing. And I think I only pay like $5 a month for it or something. It was one of the main reasons I got an iPhone. Maybe it's 15 because I got the 1 terabyte. Anyway, but because it's still SIM locked to the carrier, I can only do dual SIM if I run 2 AT&T numbers on it until it's paid off. But yeah, normally I do that. But it's not even that anymore. It's paying for 2 lines when I could probably get away with 1 now. In my height of everything when I was at Swift, and you know, I was getting 50, 60 phone calls a day, then yeah, it made sense to have an extra line. And when I was at SRO and I had brokers calling and I wanted to differentiate between personal calls and YouTube calls and broker calls, then it made sense. But my life is kind of winding down now. And so I think I'll be just fine with 1 line, but I'd be tempted to do it if I could get AT&T to unlock it like they said they would. They've done all my other phones in the past while they were on an installment plan, but now all of a sudden they want to do it. Now, in their defense, it was in the first 90 days. There has been times in the past they've made me wait 90 days. Did you change the air conditioner? Anyway, but this time they didn't want to do it. And I talked to one of the vice presidents of the company. So I may try again at some point, but right now I'm okay with 1 phone, I think. And all of you will be receiving that talk to me regularly. You'll be receiving a text message soon with that other number. P.U. Patel, channel member Trucker Todd, did it cross your mind to keep the truck and have someone else run it so you wouldn't lose what you had invested in it? Briefly, the problem is I'm going to take a significant pay cut more than likely. And if I had a situation where, you know, I put a driver in it and they drove it till it broke and then left it, then I'd have all that on top of me too. It was a truck with almost 800,000 miles on it, and risk versus benefit. it was really a pretty clear choice. Now, if it had been a truck with 150, 200,000 miles on it, yeah, I might have took a shot at it if I had some factory warranty left, some things like that. But the problem, and I've said this in other videos, my thoughts on this is that you assume when you're going to hire drivers that you're going to get somebody just like you. You assume you're going to get somebody that'll take care of the truck, they'll do the maintenance, they won't run into stuff. And sometimes you get that and sometimes you don't. Usually people never take as good of a care of the equipment as you do. And I couldn't risk anything else bad happening while I was on the hook. And, Scott was talking about today that he's going to look for a driver, but if he can't find somebody pretty quick, he'll probably sell it too. So, yeah, I did briefly think about it though. And then you've got the other problem. If they abandon the truck somewhere, I can't go pick it up. So I've got to find a driver to pick it up and bring it back to me. I am going to maintain my CDL during all of this. I just won't have a medical card. I got an exemption from the state that allows me to keep my CDL without a medical card, but it's basically worthless until I get that medical card again. Channel member Midlife, have you looked at GP Transco? They seem to have outside recruiting. No, because today was my first day looking. And so I'm making a mental list now, which is a terrible idea because I can't remember nothing right now. I'm going to be writing these companies down like GP Transco and some of the others and contacting them. Recruiting's not really what I want to do, but it kind of keeps me in trucking and things like that. It'll kind of keep my thumb on the pulse of what's happening in trucking and things like that so that I can keep doing these videos. Let me get down here. I think we've got another super chat. Hey, here's another longtime friend, Deontay Butler. He says the best is yet to come with the $4.99 super chat. I'm going to call them all super chats because I don't know what the difference is. But either way, I thank you very much. All right, let's see if I can get back where I was. Max Force, can you do a non-CDL driving job? I can do any job that doesn't require the medical card, which would be, from my understanding, from the research I've done so far, would be a non-CDL job. Obviously, I'll have to check with each individual company, but I can go out and deliver pizzas right now. I can, do things like that. I just can't drive anything that requires a medical card. Robbie Ross, channel member, you have the knowledge to write paper. I have the knowledge to write paper. I'm not sure what you mean there, Robbie Ross. Channel member Midlife, don't die. You might vote Democrat. No kidding. Somehow I think if I found out somebody voted me Democrat after I died, I'd come back and haunt them. Mud Trucking channel member, you'll be back, brother, before you know, 100%. Well, thank you. I believe so too. I just think it's going to take a few weeks. I'm already better today than I was the day I got out of the hospital. But yeah, the night that I got out, we stopped at my son's shop, which is about 30 minutes from my house because my pickup was there. And I wanted to drive my pickup home. And that was an experience. That probably wasn't a great idea. And the next day I drove and I was a little better. And the next day I drove and I was a little better. So everything's gradually coming back online. It's kind of like when you reboot your cell phone or you reboot your laptop. That's kind of what my brain's going through right now. It's coming back online a little at a time. Gary Cook, channel member, I'm not sure. I was just driving and it blew out on me. I was driving when it happened. Let me get back up here. That's weird. I'm wondering if maybe you had like a stress deal where it cracked. I don't know. That's weird. Something had to have hit it. You don't think somebody shot it with a BB gun while you was going down the road, do you? Sid, seeing your health scare shows how fast a CDL holder life can change. Yeah, maybe I need to do some recorded videos on this. This is, we always talk about the maintenance of the truck, but rarely do we talk about the maintenance of the driver. And having several revenue streams, having a backup plan. We tell our college athletes, you need to get a good education so that if athletics doesn't work out for you, you got a backup plan, a way to go, things like that. But we as drivers never think of it. And, we need to be walking. We need to be watching what we eat. And I've been terrible here lately. I ain't gonna lie. This could happen to any of us. And some things like a heart attack, yeah, you can put that on smoking. You can put it on drinking. You can put it on obesity. But strokes just happen. And if you had a stroke tomorrow morning, what would your backup plan be? What would you do next? Something to think about for sure. Michael says, hope you're improving every day. It feels like it. It's like a roller coaster though. I'll have 2 or 3 hours of good time, and then I'll have a little bit where I need to sit down. My stamina's not back yet for sure. I had to go to Walmart and get some pills and get some milk and stuff like that. And I had to ride one of the old people buggies, which was a little bit embarrassing for me. It was really embarrassing for my wife because I wasn't driving it real well either. But I do feel like I'm getting a little bit better every day. I hope my stamina comes back soon because I feel like I can get a job pretty quick. I just don't know physically how much I can do. Red Raider Reload, and even though it's unfortunate now, I can cook you some ribs when I cook next. Yes, sir. It's a shame that it took a tragedy like my stroke, but now I can finally eat some of Red Raider Reloading's ribs, and I want to see some of his collection too. I can't say the word because I'd prefer not to get demonetized today, but they look like this and they go bang bang, and so hopefully he'll show me some of those too. But I want to see his new tattoo in person. I've seen pictures of it, but he's a good friend, and I hadn't seen him since we used to work at the same place. But with him being in Lubbock, we got to hang out sometime. Michael says WGN. So earlier I was asking the Chicago channel that Bozo the Clown and Cookie the Clown were on. It was WGN. I couldn't remember. It seems like I called it WBN, but you're correct. It is WGN. My favorite part of the show was the grand prize game. And we're talking, I'm little, 4 or 5 years old, where they take the little ping pong balls and try to throw them in the buckets. I always thought, man, if my parents had just taken me to Chicago, I could win that game. Ramon says, still got my job. Thank God the owner is good guy. First time I was out for 2 months and he held your job. That's awesome, man. See, this is people are like, why are you still talking about Scott and Rose? And same reason Ramon is talking about his company. When you can get on the internet and all you hear is negative. This company's bad. This company treats drivers bad. This company rips you off on pay. And so we need to have guys on here talking about good. What? You're distracting me. We need to have guys on here talking about the good guys out there so that we're going to good companies and not bad companies, so that it's good that he's found him a good place. Deontay says, checking in. All goes well. Hope all goes well for you. You are in my prayers. Thank you very much, Deontay. I appreciate it. Midlife Trucker channel member says, Google Voice. Man, you really want me to keep that number, don't you? If it's that important to you, Midlife, I'll try to find a way to keep it for you. Channel member Midlife, there's always dispatch, and yeah, that's another avenue I'm looking into. I made some phone calls about that today too, and it's in the realm of possibilities. I can say that right now. There's a lot of stuff in the works people don't want me to talk about yet, and we just got to see if we can make the pay and schedule and everything work. P.U. Patel, channel member, I take it after parting ways with SRO Logistics, you won't be bringing Scott on alive. I don't mind bringing him on if he wants to come on. It'd definitely be easier now because he his truck's down right now, and I don't have a truck. I'm home every day, so I can control the internet signal. Yeah, I'll bring him on if we'll talk about it. I'm sure. Right now, I've been focused on getting a job, and once I know what my schedule is, then I'll try to set something up with him so that you guys can ask him questions. Robbie Ross, channel member. Finance cars. I have done F&I work in the past. I could definitely do it again. I don't own a suit and tie anymore, so there'd be a little bit of investment there, but I'm not opposed to it. I've got a guy right here in Lubbock, Texas, that works at one of the Dodge dealerships, and I know it's Dodge, but he told me if I ever wanted to sell or finance cars again, to come see him first. Now that may have been to hire me. It may have been so he could call everybody and tell them not to hire me. But the other guy that told me that, I had another guy that said if I ever wanted to sell cars again, he would fire somebody if he had to hire me. That guy has had some major health problems, and he's no longer working in the car business. I loved my time selling cars, and not saying I wouldn't do it again, but I want to explore other avenues before I go to that. And so we'll see what happens. That'll be one more reason for y'all to hang around, because as soon as I do something, I'm going to tell you what it is. Deontay Butler, hope all goes well for you. You'll be back very soon, I believe. Well, thank you, sir. I'll be back in some capacity, even if it's converting the show to an Asian Ma style show where I'm just reading you news stories every day and giving my opinion on them and doing these lives once or twice a week. Once I have a work schedule and know what I'm doing, then we'll craft everything to where I can still be involved with you all and still contribute in some capacity. Gary Cook says no. Let me see. Oh, it was about if somebody had hit his windshield with, his door glass with something. That is so weird. I wonder, have you looked online to see if maybe there's a design flaw and other people are having the same type of problem? Brian Walton, if you're going to go back into trucking again in the near future, have you thought about doing DoorDash? DoorDash isn't an option for me right now. my pickup is kind of limping along. It's got uh, a turbo actuator that needs to be replaced, and it's got the back tires are just terrible on it. It's also got a 6.5-inch lift, and it puts out about 500 horsepower. So it's not the most fuel efficient vehicle for delivery. Um, my wife drives a super nice car that would be perfect, but neither one of us want to use it for that and tear it up or wear it out. So it's unlikely that I'll be going that route. I have done DoorDash in the past, though. You also run into some problems with insurance companies. A lot of insurance companies don't want you to do any type of food delivery or ride share with your car on their insurance. I learned that the hard way with Geico. Channel member midlife. I had a driver's window explode a couple of years ago. They said heat on cold outside, maybe a rock. Yeah, I could see that happening. Oh, let's see. Channel member midlife again. A mortgage takes 30 years to pay off. Bank robbers usually get about 10 years. Stay tuned for more financial advice. Oh yeah, it's I was joking to a couple of people. I thought it was real funny. Most people didn't. I was like, all right, it's time for me to go to a life of crime. Red Raider Reloading, did you embarrass your wife by having 40 feet of shopping carts being pulled by an electric scooter? No, but what I did was like I would honk the horn, and I almost ran over a couple of people, things like that. Jason Johnson, how are you doing, Trucker Todd? Just got informed you were on. Yeah, that's weird how it doesn't send the notifications out uh, like it used to. I used to have a real good friend in Lubbock that I met him when he was a waiter. His name was Jason Johnson. That I don't know whatever happened to him. Him and his wife were really good friends of mine at one time. Back when I sold cars before, I ended up selling them. I think I sold them two cars, a minivan and like a pickup or something. Channel member Ramon says, "Have a good night." You too, sir. I'm glad you're feeling better, and I'm glad you'll be back out here with us soon. Channel member Midlife, I don't have your number anyway. I'm just saying to keep job search separate from life. Yeah, I've already. Well, the other problem with the Trucker Todd line, I can go ahead and say it now because I'm planning on closing it. Uh, I some of the trolls gave my number out to telemarketers, and I'm getting, I mean, 50, 60 telemarketing calls a day, and I'm constantly having to block numbers, and it's just a hassle. And so that's another reason to get rid of it. But on the flip side, I've about got everybody blocked, so it's not ringing that much now. But you're right. If things take off again and expand, I would like to keep that number because it's kind of a catchy number. One thing I might could do is talk about porting it to AT&T, seeing if they've got just a phone and data plan, or not even a phone and data, a phone and text plan, a real cheap one that I might could put it on, and then I could have two numbers on that one phone and not lose that number. A lot of people like that number because it's catchy and easy to remember. I may look into that because that would be something I could do real cheap and easy. But the goal is just to cut expenses anywhere we can. Nomad Nexus Halls, or man, I said that wrong, but I like the name. Nomad Nexa Halls. You know, you could get your DOT number, and I'm pretty sure you have some guys who might come to work for you. Yeah, the problem with that is the first 6 months you have your own DOT number. It's really hard to get brokers to work with you, and the ones that aren't that good of brokers. And same thing is when the guy's truck breaks down, if they don't have any money, they're wanting you to loan them money. And right now, I couldn't loan you guys a $1 bill. And so I would hate to have 5 or 10 guys that needed help, and it might be something little, a $300 or $400 oil change, and that ain't even right anymore. See, my brain still ain't back. A $700 oil change, let's say, and me not be able to help them, and then we're all in a pressure situation, or they need tires, and I can't hook them up. Instead, I would ask you guys to contact SRO Logistics at safety@srologistics.com and talk to him about opportunities. I thought I wanted to do that when I started at SRO Logistics, but when I saw the headaches involved, um, I don't think right now I want to do it, especially with my health like it is. I don't know if I want that extra stress. P.U. Patel, channel member, don't have the Crown Vic anymore. He said use the Crown Vic for DoorDash. I did in the past, though, and it was the perfect car for it because it had vinyl back seats. It had a rubber floor. If something spilt in there, it wouldn't be any big deal. But yeah, I haven't had the cop car in how long, Paula? 3 months, 2 or 3 months. It's been gone. The motorcycle got traded in for the car that my wife drives now. And so we're down to 2 vehicles. We got my pickup and her car. And we're hoping right now we can just hang on to both of them. The thing about dispatching and our recruiting, it is very stressful and not good for stroke patients. That was Nomad Nexa Halls. Yeah, I agree. But I would say this, though. Every job has some degree of stress. And the thing you have to do is find a way to deal with that stress in a healthful and productive way. And I think for me, it's going to be walking, doing things like that, trying to relieve stress that way. But yeah, every job's going to have some level of stress. YouTube actually takes a little stress off of me because I do pretty good off of YouTube. And so it's not like before when I was in sales. If I didn't sell a car that month, I didn't have any income. Actually, it was worse than not having an income because they put a draw on there. They give you some cash through the month. And then when you get paid, when you make a commission, they expect that money back. So you actually could end the month owing them money. And so now I've got a little bit coming in. So it's a little bit different situation. So who knows if I spend a few days looking for a job and nothing really catches my attention, then you may see me putting on the suit again and go and sell cars. And a lot of them, they don't even wear a suit anymore. They wear polo shirts and usually slacks or nice jeans or something like that. So I'm at this point, I would tell you I'm not ruling anything out. I'm willing to consider anything. Channel member Midlife says, my drill sergeant told me if something caused me stress to kill it. There you go. Nomad Nexa Halls. I like the Asian Mai idea. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. It's actually how I started the channel. And it's probably the direction we're going to have to go at this point since I legally cannot drive a semi truck. The biggest problem is YouTube pays once a month. I get my check on the 21st of each month. And I've been getting them for close to 2 years now. And so you've got to grow it to a point where it pays your bills if you want to do it full time. And the editing and the research and stuff like that takes a little time. So I've got to find a job. It doesn't have to be, a $2,000 a week job, but I got to find a job that covers my basic needs and basic expenses to where, and I've still got enough time that I can focus on the channel and put that kind of content out. But I love doing that kind of stuff. I love sharing my opinions. I love debating guys that can debate smartly and give me, calling me stupid ain't a smart debate. But if you've got a differing opinion and you can articulate, one of the best at it is, well, there's a couple of people, and I don't know if either one of them's in here right now. A trucker named Tim is a very good debater, and he can do it without losing his temper. And also Mark Ely in here is also a very good debater, and he can do it without losing his temper. He and I have argued for long periods of time before. Nobody's threatened anybody. Nobody's called each other names. It's just, well, what about this? Well, what about this? And we go back and forth. And so it's fun to do those types of videos with, especially with the audience I got, because we've got a lot of smart people in here. And it makes it fun to have somebody challenge you that can really challenge you. I don't think I'd be much of a challenge right now, but though I got to get my mind back. But there's always something happening in trucking to talk about. And I think the channel, that's back when the channel really grew. People loved the news stories. And so it's definitely something that's probably going to happen. And of course, we're still going to sprinkle in the interviews. Everybody wants to see Scott, pick his brain. And we didn't talk about it today because we had so much other going on, but he's not afraid to come on, and he's not afraid to answer tough questions and things like that. Or at least that's my opinion of him. Roger Berry, channel member, I made it. Sorry, been on home time. No problem, sir. I appreciate you being here. Nomad Nexa Halls, don't sell yourself short. You are Trucker Todd, work for one of the big manufacturers possibly, and do appearances and marketing. I'm game for it, and I've done some of that in the past. You guys know when I was at Roadrunner, I worked pretty closely with their marketing department. Went to one board meeting and shared my thoughts. That would be great. Marketing also at your company or any company would be great, because I could do a lot of that work from home and still do the YouTube channel. And I could still come to the office when they needed me to. I could still do truck shows and personal appearances and things like that. Yeah, that's you had to forgive me. My confidence is a little bit down right now. That's why I kind of laughed when you said you are Trucker Todd. There was a time when I used to chant that, but now I got to prove it to me again. But yeah, if you, and I've said this before, if you work at a good company and you don't think they're getting their word out, have them email me at todd@truckertodd.net, and let's talk about it. They might be surprised. Sometimes all they need, and this is what Roadrunner needed when I was there, and they've gone to the dark side since then, I heard. Well, I'll get to them in a minute. But sometimes all a company needs is to hear a driver's perspective. They sit in a boardroom, and they were bouncing ideas off of me at Roadrunner. Hey, we're thinking about this. And I said, well, this is how it sounds to a driver when you say that. I get what you're trying to do. I get the motivation behind it. But when you say it to a driver this way, this is how the driver takes it. Why don't you try saying it this way? You're saying the same thing, but you're saying it in a way that a driver understands. And they're like, oh, okay. And it's just that there's a disconnect there, right? Kind of like I heard on the radio, they were talking about a disconnect between white collar and blue collar. And they say the same things, but they say them in a different language. Like they have different terminology and things like that. And so it's finding a way to translate from blue collar to white collar. And it's the same thing in trucking. You don't want to go on there and deceive anybody. The trucking companies don't want to lie to you. They just want you to go to work for them. And you don't want to lie to them. So you're trying to find a middle ground that works for everybody. Inward facing cameras, when you, to them, they think, oh, we're doing these inward facing cameras because they promote safety, and we just want everybody to be careful and be safe, and that way we can coach behavior. And when a driver hears that, a driver hears micromanagement, I'm out. And that's why they can't sell these things. And pretty much only company trucks have them. Very few lease purchase trucks have. And you've also got to look at this March 11th law now and how that's going to affect. You start putting inward facing cameras in trucks, you start looking like a company driver. And so, yeah, there's a lot to unpack there and a lot to talk about there. Let me tell you about Roadrunner real quick, though. What happened to a buddy of mine over there? He had worked for the company for 28 years. I hadn't even told my wife this yet. You know who I'm talking about, Paula? The guy that lives in Phoenix that I talked to that works at Roadrunner. You know his name? The one that argues with Randy? Yeah, don't say it. There's a reason I'm not saying it. He got fired the other day. His whole time with the company, 28 years, he had never got a ticket, never got a citation, was doing their orientations for him. And he got pulled over for an improper lane change. And they wrote him a warning, and he got fired for that. He said that there's a lot of changes going on within the company over there, because I was talking to him about me maybe working with their marketing department again, or maybe with their recruiting department as kind of an advisor or something like that. And he said, Todd, I don't recommend it. He said, they've changed all the leadership. A lot of things are changing over there. He said, for the first time in my life, I'm not recommending Roadrunner. And I said, all right, that's all I needed to hear. I could not believe, my jaw dropped. I could not believe that they did that to him, because he was Mr. Roadrunner. You couldn't say something bad about the company. At one point, I made a negative video about Roadrunner, and he was ready to fight me over it. And then we later became friends. But yeah, he was their biggest supporter, and they stabbed him in the back like that. Blues Trucker US, you can do recorded videos of calling trucking companies and get information about them and jobs. Everyone always calls you wanting to know about what you think about a company. You can set it up. Calls with recruiting. Yeah, there's and I realize that Lockout Men does that, and there's a few legal issues there. You get into some wiretapping issues, and he puts a disclaimer in his videos that allows him to do it. I'd have to do some research about how to get away with that. But I wouldn't be opposed to doing a few of them. Especially now that I'm not tied to any company or anything like that. What would be better, I think, is just to bring them on the show and talk to them. But the problem is recruiters, and I'm going to shock everybody here. Get ready. I'm going to take your comment down because it's covering my face. Here's something that's going to shock everybody. Recruiters lie, and recruiters are mistaken. I remember at Swift, not Michelle, but some of the other recruiters, sometimes they'd get some of the facts wrong. Heck, sometimes I'd get some of the facts wrong because Swift would change their mind in the middle of the week. And that's the other problem. You put a video out, and I've got people watching a Schneider video I did years ago, and I've never worked at Schneider. Just somebody asked me to check them out, and I checked them out. And things have changed at Schneider since I did that video. And people are like, oh, Todd, you're a liar. You're just trying to get clicks. And nope, I'm presenting the facts as they were at the time I recorded that video. So yeah, but that's another great suggestion. And we may do that at some point. Stephen Lyle, Logistics. If you want, someday we can debate EV cars. I like them, but I'm not a nut about it. LOL. Well, I think I've been misquoted on EVs. I don't have a problem with them. I have a problem with the government forcing you to get one. You know what it takes to build one, what it takes the infrastructure wise. I mean, right now we have brownouts in the country, especially out in California. What are we going to do when we got 20 million electric vehicles out here? What are we going to do when we have 1 million electric trucks out here? How are we going to support that infrastructure? The same people that want to do this for environmental reasons don't want to build the power plants necessary to do it, which also pollute the earth. And So I'm not opposed to it. I think it'd be great, especially for somebody like my wife that drives 3 miles to work every day. An electric vehicle would be great. She could charge it on her day off and run all week and not have to buy any gas. But it's, I mean, we're already seeing Tesla's had some problems with them just randomly catching on fire. And I think we're trying to force something instead of letting the market naturally introduce them to us and naturally bring them in. And they're not selling as great as everybody had hoped they were either. They're expensive. Now, we may have a whole different discussion if you can get an electric vehicle down to $20,000 or $25,000. Maybe you got something there. But right now they're just too expensive. The range ain't long enough, 200 or 300 miles for a lot of them. And so uh, a lot of people think I'm opposed to them, and I'm not. Now I still like the roar of an old V8, and I'm driving an EcoBoost. Mine's a twin turbo 6-cylinder, so mine doesn't have that grumble sound that I like. But I mean, we all make changes, and who knows? 40 years from now, electric vehicles may make more sense than a gas vehicle. And if they do, then fine, I'll switch. My uncle has a hybrid. He gets over 50 miles a gallon with it, and he loves it. So I think there's a place for it in the world. I just don't think that one size fits all, and if it works for one person, it works for everybody. Midlife Trucker channel member Prime is getting inward facing cameras in lease and company. Yeah, and I think they're fixing to have some issues because of it. Again, let me it's in my disclaimer, but I probably ought to say it verbally. I'm not a lawyer, but I think all this misclassification stuff, the more stuff like this you do with the inward facing cameras and stuff, the more you're inching towards that line. Let's see here. Alaska Hall. Hope you get better, Todd. Very unfortunate that happened. We can only control so much in life. Yes, sir. And, a lot to be said there. I ate 2 candy bars the other day. And for those that don't know me, my wife's laughing. For those that don't know me, I rarely eat a candy bar. But was that the best decision in life to eat 2 candy bars, 2 big candy bars? No, but none of us are living a perfect life, and we're all cutting corners somewhere. Some of you smoke, some of you are heavy drinkers. Heck, some of you think I'm a heavy drinker. Me and my uncle were laughing about it on the phone. He called me the other day. He's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Well, according to YouTube, I'm a heavy drinker, so I'm just here getting schnockered." And he busted out laughing because he knows I rarely drink. But yeah, we all have our vices. We all have our things that we do. And that day I was stressed out, and I said, "You know what? I'm going to have a couple of candy bars." And that's what I did. And if it took 30 seconds off my life, then it took 30 seconds off my life. But I enjoyed those 2 candy bars. Nomad Nexa Halls. If you could get a GoFundMe or make it on your own to truck shows, that would be a great opportunity to have some meetings and get ideas on marketing and some other corporate position. That's what I did last year, and I've still got a lot of those contacts. And there's some of that going on behind the scenes too. I really, people are like, "Todd, I don't see why you're so busy." There's a lot of bicycle pedaling going on behind the scenes, and all I can do is say, hang in there with me. I'm looking at it, but if I've got a year to save, I don't think I need a GoFundMe for that. I just think I need to get back to work and not have any health issues, not have any more houses flood, things like that. And if this truck show had been in a couple of weeks instead of this week, I could have went. It started the day before I got out of the hospital. I mean, the day after I got out of the hospital. So I was in no condition to run around. But yes, that's exactly why I need to be there. A lot of people, the first one I went to, people were like running up to me, even big companies like Walmart. And they're like, "Oh, Trucker Todd, we love your videos." And so there's definitely a market for me there and a place for me there. And I got to get back there. I can't miss 2 in a row for sure. And there's other truck shows in the year. They're just not as big as that one. And you never know, I may appear at some of the other ones as well. Tony Skinner, inward facing cameras have saved my former employer millions. They only record an event 7 seconds before and 7 seconds after. I would tell you that that's true in a lot of cases, but I had a guy the other day, and I say the other day, it's been a few months ago, that contacted me that his dispatcher was listening to him and his wife have intimate interactions in their truck, and then was teasing him about it the next day. I can tell you that even though it records 7 seconds before and 7 seconds after, in order to be doing that, it has to be recording all the time and then just deleting that footage. It's what they call a loop recorder. It's no different than this heart monitor I got. It does the exact same thing. I've even got a little fob in my pocket that I can hit a button and make it instantly start recording. And so there's still ways they can break in there and listen if they want to. Now, granted, if they got a lot of trucks, they probably don't have the time or the inclination, but there's sickos everywhere, and you'd be surprised what people are into. And I hear it all the time. Well, when I go to bed, I just throw my baseball cap over it. They can't see nothing. Well, what can they hear? What if you and your wife are having an argument? Do you want the whole company hearing that? What if you're talking about your house payment? You don't know how you're going to make your house payment, or you just found out there's a family problem and you're discussing it. You have a right to privacy, and I'll be honest with you, it's a little bit insulting to me. Not your comment. I'm not talking about you, but it's insulting to me how we as a country are so willing and so ready to give up our freedoms. We've spent all these years fighting for our freedoms and our liberty and our right to privacy just to give them up because some company wants to micromanage us. And if they want to make it an option, fine. Say, hey, if you're willing to have an inward facing camera, we'll give you 2 cents a mile extra pay. Then fine, do that. But to say you don't have a choice, we're going to invade your privacy whether you like it or not, then you're not going to get me to think it's okay. Blues Trucker US, check out remote work from home health insurance company representative. They seem to pay decent. Yeah, the only problem with that, and I've looked into a little bit of that. I've actually done something similar to that in the past. The problem with it is there's so many scam companies out there offering similar services that you got to be real careful and make sure you're not getting scammed. But yeah, you're right. That's a great way to go. A lot of people don't know. For a while I drove a truck, I also sold life insurance on the side. And so I've got my I did have my life insurance agent's license. I think it's expired now, but it's pretty easy to get it back. And I was able to sell health insurance and life insurance. The commissions are pretty good because you get residuals off of them. But it would, and I just don't know if mentally I'm there yet. Maybe I am. I don't know. I just, it's a going to see a lot of people at their house and them no showing or saying, well, we'll think about it. And then when they have that cooling off time, they decide not to buy it. You got to make sure you close them while you're there. Roger Berry, channel member, I will have to watch the rerun, heading to Grand Prairie on Sunday for Monday night delivery. Well, there you go. Be careful. Have a great night, man. Thanks for dropping in. Let's see. Midlife Trucker channel member, I got 2,500 steps left to get today. There you go. Well, you can listen to the show while you walk. Just keep your eyes on the road. Don't get ran over out there. Travis Jones, Todd, you don't like candy bars? It's weird. As a kid, my parents didn't let me eat them a lot. They were kind of real health nuts. No, I don't want to say health nuts. Health fanatics. That's a better way to say it. They would only buy healthy breakfast cereal. I didn't really start drinking soft drinks till I was almost a teenager. Um, we got basic breakfast cereal like shredded wheat, things like that. Sometimes Cheerios. Um, Rarely got Honey Nut Cheerios. And I typically drank like Country Time lemonade, if you guys remember that, but rarely had a candy bar. My grandpa sometimes would buy me a whatchamacallit candy bar, and I'd get maybe one a month of those. And at dinner, my mom made, four, what's the four food groups? She made those real healthy meals. And so uh, I just was never in the habit of eating a lot of sweets. We didn't have a lot of candy laying around the house. And so it's kind of foreign to me, if that makes sense. And so every once in a while I'll eat one, but it's not something I think, oh man, I wish I had some candy. And, when you go to the doctor, they see an overweight guy and they go, oh, well, he must eat candy bars all day and Cheetos. And that's not really me. Exactly. Nomad Nexa Halls, the Houston Truck Show. That'd be a real easy one to do. That's about a 10-hour drive from here. Exactly. Very well said, Midlife. Channel member Midlife says they only upload the events. They record anyway. Exactly. They're stored on a cloud for a certain length of time, and they can retrieve that at any time. And, it could be, this is another thing that could happen. It could be that somebody says, oh, I saw somebody drinking a beer in their truck, which is false. Maybe they're mad at you because you got the last parking spot. They call your company and, they try to see you walking out to your truck with beer or something across the parking lot. And instead, they see you and your wife going at it in the sleeper, or they hear you and your wife arguing on the phone or something like that. They could accidentally get stuff too. I like the setup I had with SRO Logistics. I had my own Samsara dash cam that I bought while I was at Swift. And I told Scott, I said, I'm the only one that's got access to it. My wife doesn't even have access to it. I said, if you ever get a call that I'm doing something crazy, call me. I'll email you the footage. If you ever get a call I'm driving erratically or anything, give me a call. I'll send you the footage. Tell me what time and day it happened. And he was cool with that. If I'm ever in an accident, I'll provide you with the footage. That's all they need. They don't need unfettered access to your privacy. If they've got a legitimate concern, call you. You can send them the footage. And if there's something we need to talk about, we'll talk about it. If there's not, then I've still got my privacy. Gary Cook, channel member, are you going to be a door greeter for Walmart? Well, I've been practicing. How do I sound? Welcome to Walmart. Or do I need to work on that voice? Welcome to Walmart. Welcome to Walmart. I'll work on that. You never know. I think mentally I could do that. I'd forget my lines. Who am I kidding? Let's see. Channel member Midlife. I've had a Lytics, I think's how you pronounce it. Swift had those too. Lytics camera at Millis. It only uploaded for events, but it had a 20-hour loop. Yeah, they've all got some kind of loop. And if you go to their websites, they admit that they do. It's recording all the time, but it's if there's an event, it's doing it in a 7-second. It has to do that because it can't go back and it's not a time machine. If you have an accident right this second and it wasn't recording, it can't go back 30 seconds and get that footage. like mine does. Even mine records all the time. It's on a cloud. I can go back 2 weeks ago and look at the footage right now. I can pull it up, and if I was a little more computer savvy, I could show y'all all that footage right now. And you know, every camera I'm aware of works that way. It's on some type of loop, and that's how it's able to record a certain amount if there's an incident. All right, we're caught up on the comments after an hour and a half, or almost an hour and a half. Let me remind everybody, please give me a thumbs up. Share this video on your social media platforms. Make sure that you give me a, did I say thumbs up? Thumbs up, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Click on the title. When you do that, it's going to drop down a lot of other great information about the channel. Go check out that website. If you hadn't been there, it's still the same as it was. But now that I'm off, hopefully this weekend I can do something to it. Anyway, enough of that. Hopefully you guys have had a chance to type some comments. If not, I'm going to check out here pretty quick. My wife got off work, and I haven't had a chance to talk to her yet. All right, we got another one. Nomad Nexa Halls. Think big, Trucker Todd. Uber and ideas like that are insulting. Even recruiting is beneath you. Get a resume together, get on Indeed, look for personality and marketing. Well, I appreciate that. And I will do that for sure. That's great advice. I used to have a resume, but it's outdated and it's time to make a new one. If I've got any of my guys here in Lubbock that do that, I may get with my brother. He's good at that kind of stuff too. I may see if I can schedule a few minutes with him and put something together like that. But I appreciate the kind words. I guess I needed that. I've been feeling a little defeated here lately, and it's good to think people think I still got it. So it definitely couldn't hurt. Robbie Ross, channel member. You want fries with that? You want to upgrade your combo? You want to supersize? Yeah, I guess I could practice those, but I think Nomad Nexa Halls has hit the nail on the head. Finally, somebody that has debated me that I can't argue with. I think I've still got some gas in the tank. I think I still need to swing for the fences. And so we'll see. P.U. Patel, channel member, are you planning on doing lives more often now that you're off the road? It's hard to say. It's really going to depend on what the next chapter of my life is, where I'm working, what I'm able to do, hour-wise, things like that. I do plan to stay very engaged on here, and you know, a lot of people think this stresses me out, but this is something I really enjoy doing, and I really like helping people. And so, I mean, if we can find something while we're here brainstorming that allows me to help people and provide for my family, why wouldn't I do it? That sounds like a win-win for everybody. Stephen Lyle, Logistics. Go up a couple of comments. You missed my question. Okay. Let's see. Stephen Lyle. Nope, it's not up there. You may have got edited by YouTube. Let me see if I can pull it up, or by StreamYard. Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone. Ah. Yeah, I'm not sure why it held your comment. I'm going to put your comment up and then we'll jump up to it. Yeah, if you ever get blocked and you don't feel like it was fair, let me know and I will go back and right the wrong. It's still not going to show your comment on StreamYard, but I'm going to read it to everybody, and then I'll respond to it. Todd, would you be interested in some YouTube counseling work? I could use some guidance on my channel. I can email you my number if you're interested. If not, no problem. Yeah, sure. I'll be happy to throw my 2 cents in. Shoot me an email, and I don't ever charge for that. What I'd say is if you want to donate to the channel, there's tons of avenues you can do that, but I'll give you my 2 cents worth for free, and then you can decide if it's worthy of a tip or a contribution, or if you want to become a channel member or something like that. But yeah, shoot me an email and I'll be glad to talk with you and try to help you get going. It's and what I did is I read some books that helped me, but I didn't read them. I'm lying. I listened to them audiobooks, same thing. But yeah, I'll be glad to give you advice, and it's free. And then if you want to contribute to the channel, that's of your own doing. But I appreciate that for sure. Actually makes me feel good that you guys would even want my opinion. That tells me I'm doing something right. Nomad Nexa Halls, think Trucker Todd as a product. Yes, exactly. And I've had to do that a lot lately. It's when I had my stroke, several people said, "Oh, you're going to have to stop YouTube for a while." And I said, "It's a brand. It's not. It's not just a hobby." I've done product endorsements. I've done YouTube commercials. I've done all kinds of stuff like that. It is a company. Somebody asked me if I was going to close my LLC now that I'm not driving a truck. And it's because they only saw the trucking business as the business. They didn't see the YouTube as the business and all the other side things that come off of it. So you are correct. It is a product. It is a business. You're a pretty smart guy, Nomad. A lot of people don't catch that. But it's an honest business. I don't get on here and promote anything I don't like. I did promote a product that I didn't personally use, and I said in the commercial, I don't personally use this product, and I explained why. But I don't get on here and deceive anybody. I don't talk about trucking companies that I really don't like or something like that. One thing that hinders me a little bit is that I'm not at 10,000 subscribers yet. And so a lot of these marketing companies, a lot of these product companies, they want you to be at 10,000 subscribers so before they start working with you. So that's why I'm always beating that drum. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to the channel because it just allows me to do so much more. Channel member Gary Cook, wasn't you doing a lease purchase on your truck? Yes, I was, and it was not a walkaway lease. I don't know how hard he's going to come after me since it was a medical deal, but I'm sure I'll owe him some money. Hopefully, I won't end up in court. But yeah, this is one of those rare times. Usually when something happens, you can say, both people were at fault. If there's an argument, you can see both sides. This is not one of those times. SRO Logistics handled everything perfectly. They were 100% in the right. And I told them, I said, I wish I had some dirt on y'all. I wish I could say, well, they cheated me on pay. They lied to me about this. They treated me bad. I don't have any of that. They treated me the best any company has ever treated me. And this whole deal was my fault. The stroke was on me. If, trolls for years have been trying to say, oh, Todd, this is your first failure or whatever. This was my first failure. I did fail, and it was because I had the stroke. Um, There we are. We're back. So I don't know how much of y'all heard that, but I was basically complaining about the internet here. Let's grab another one. Stephen Law Logistics thinks you can charge for information and time is valuable, and Trucker Todd Consulting may be the next big thing. LOL. Yeah, I'll tell you the truth about that. And if people call me for advice, I tell them the same thing in private. I'm gonna take that down so you can see my website. Is I found that the more I try to help people, the more my income goes up. I don't. People come to me because I don't charge. They think, oh well, you're just helping me because you're getting money for it. And so if I just help people and don't worry about money, it tends to roll in. So I've never charged a fee, and I could have made a lot of money if I'd have said, especially in the Swift days, if I'd have said, all right, I charge 10 minutes, I charge $5 for every 10 minutes, or I charge $10 for every 10 minutes. But people trusted me because I said, I'm going to help you whether you help me or not. And, and that's what's worked for me, and I'll keep doing it. And I believe, well, I know for a fact that most truck drivers are generally good people. You look at this last 2 weeks, well, really longer than that. Look back when I lost my Kenworth, and people stepped up and really helped me out when I was in a bind and I had no one else to turn to. And so people want to do the right thing, but I mean, every one of us has been to a truck stop and people are standing out there with their hand out saying, can you help me? Can you help me? And I don't want to be that guy. I'm going to come on here and tell you the truth. When I was making buttloads of money, I was coming on here and telling you I'm making buttloads of money. And when I was out here struggling, I'd get on here and say, man, it's tough right now. I'm struggling. And my hope is, my number one hope above money and everything, is that when you see me helping somebody, it makes you want to go out and help somebody. But my number two hope is that it'll come back to me in a good way down the line. And it may be nothing more than you run into me at a McDonald's one day and you say, hey, let me buy your lunch. Or I'll give you an example. A good friend of mine in here bought me a Dak Prescott Dallas Cowboy jersey. And he offered to take me to a game on Thanksgiving, and I couldn't go. My family would have killed me. But stuff like that's where it's at. And so the short answer is I'll help you. Just email me your phone number. I'll give you a call. It'll probably be tomorrow, and we'll talk it out. And if it's not a good time, you'll call me back when you can. You'll have my number, and we'll go from there. But that's the way I've done it from the beginning. A very large YouTuber in the beginning, he told me don't charge. Said I saw a guy got roasted for that. He used to charge $20 a phone call, and people grew to hate him. And so I just put it in your hands. I'm going to do good to you whether it benefits me financially or not, and then you can decide what you want to contribute and what you don't. But yeah, there's the answer to that. It'll be tough to change my mind on that one. Nomad Nexa Halls, you need merch. I believe Cletus McFarland does distribution for merchandise now. I think he has his contact info on his channel. You need cool and funny merchandise. Now that's coming. Right prior to my stroke, I had several conversations about that and was setting it up. We were working on the distribution and how to collect the money and stuff like that. The only merchandise right now that we've got is the Trucker Todd tuggers and, the air horn tuggers. And they're in the little ticker going across the bottom of my screen. You can email that email. It's tt.tuggers@gmail.com and work with him on getting you a tugger. That's the only merchandise we've got right now. I've got business cards that I'll send you for free if you want one. If you need a few to pass out to your friends, let me know. On one side, they're pretty cool. My brother helped me design these. One side, they have the email address on there. If you flip them over, though, they say, oh boy, I'm bad at this. They say Trucker Todd LLC kind of in the background, and they have a QR code, which does like a link tree to all of my social medias. Like say, email me if you want some cards. I'll mail them to you. I still got one guy. He was wanting to pass them out at Matt's, and I got out of the hospital too late to mail them to him. But everybody else, if you want some cards, 5 or 10 cards or whatever, shoot me an email. I'll mail you some cards, and we'll get the Trucker Todd brand out there more. And that's another way you can help me if you want to help. But don't be afraid to contact me and think, oh, if I call Todd, he's going to want $20 or something just to answer my question. I'll help you for free. William Hartman, are you still at Swift? No, I left them almost a year ago. Heck, it may be a year now. I saved up enough money and bought my own truck and went to F2F and was there about 3 weeks and wrecked and totaled it. And so that turned out to be a great decision. But yep, that truck is gone. And so is the Swift time. And because of that time, I'm not eligible to work at Swift for 5 years. Okay, we're caught up on the comments. We're almost at the 2-hour mark. It's been a while since we did a video this long. If you guys got anything else you want to know, put it up there. We'll talk about it. If you don't, I'm going to get off here and find out how much trouble I'm in. P.U. Patel, channel member, I don't see how Swift wouldn't want to have you back in an office position or something. You did so great there. Well, thank you for that. I can tell you, let me see how I want to say this. There's 2 parts to it. As a recruit, well, there's 3 parts to it. The first part is geography. I live over 300 miles from the nearest terminal. There's 3 of them. They're all 3 in different directions, and they're all 3 a little over 300 miles from me. That would be El Paso, Lancaster, Texas, Oklahoma City. Part of the office staff loves me, flat out loves me. The Oklahoma City terminal, they like me a lot because I said a lot of good things about them. We worked well together. Some of the safety department, not so much, because I talked about them when I felt like they were out of line or micromanaging. A couple of the shops, when I flat out caught them doing dishonest things, they don't like me so much. Also, there's been a lot of turnover at the company since I was there. So it's hard to know if you're going to get people on the phone that like you or don't like you. But I would be willing to talk to any company about some type of opportunity to work with them. I think my calling really is to work with the marketing department and try to find new and interesting ways to help drivers, or maybe driver retention. Maybe I work at a company, and if a guy's having trouble at the company, they call me and I try to connect them with somebody that can fix their problem or something like that. I did a whole bunch of that at Roadrunner, and I did a whole bunch of that at Swift, and a little bit of it at Dart. When you get a channel like this, you get a little bit of swing with the company, and sometimes you can influence decisions and behaviors and things like that. And so that would be something I think I would enjoy, because I could definitely help drivers in that capacity. And typically they put former dispatchers in those roles, and former dispatchers are buddies with the current dispatchers, and they don't always come out on the driver's side. But I think I'd be a really good driver advocate or something along that lines, and that's something I may lean into a lot more. I like the marketing idea too, though, so we'll see. Let's see what else. My phone operator was with me and brother-in-law. We have a... Oh, okay. Well, good deal. Robbie Ross, channel member, says, tell Paula you get a pass. Can't get in trouble. Yeah, Paula. They're saying you can't be mad at me. For how long? At least a year, right? And she has to agree with everything I say. That would be awesome. All right. Man, this has been a fun show. I thank y'all for being here. If y'all got anything else you want to talk about before I clear out of here? I like all the brainstorming tonight. Y'all have had a lot of great ideas. And I can feel my mind coming back. I feel like this show, I've been a little more charismatic than I have been since I went in the hospital. Incidentally, because I know the comments are going to come, this looks like something that would be sugar. This is that powdered stuff you buy that you put in water, and I bought the sugar-free. So this is a sugar-free grape flavored drink. And since I'm not having to drive, I'm not having to worry about caffeine and all of that. I'm just doing this to wet my whistle while I talk for 2 hours. But all right, the comments have died off. Okay, we got a couple more here. Call Big Business Line LLC is DeMott and Allen Transportation. Okay, I can sure check into stuff like that. I'm not familiar with them. I hadn't heard of them. Maybe I should have. Are they flatbed or something? I gotta take this hat off. I'm sorry. It gets warm in here. It's because all the lights on me. And it probably looks dark there. Incidentally, since this travel trailer got flooded, we'll be moving out of here soon. And if we're going for a few days where I think we're going, I'll have a nice office to shoot these videos in. So that'll be good too. I can go in there and shut the door and be in a little box. It'll be like being in a truck again. All right, folks. It's got quiet. I'm hopping out of here. Y'all have a great day. Thanks for joining me. Who knows? We may do another one of these real soon. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.